Hello students, in our previous video we have gone through the topic communalism. Now in this video I'll start with the topic secular state. It is true that in a democratic country to tackle communalism is a major challenge. Now how this challenge can be overcome? So the solution to this problem is secularism. Secularism means separation of religion from political, economic, social, and cultural aspects of life. Religion being treated as a purely personal matter. The idea of secularism is reflected in several constitutional provisions. The provisions of secularism are: first, there is no official religion for the Indian state. It means no special status is given to any religion, as we have seen in our chapter 1, where in Sri Lanka an act was passed and Buddhism was given primary protection as the state religion. But it is not so in India. Next, freedom to profess, practice, and propagate any religion or not to follow any. As India is a secular state, so we respect every religion. So people are free to express the views of their religion to others and are free to practice any religion of their choice. And if suppose a person don't want to follow any religion, then he is free to do so. Next, the constitution prohibits discrimination on grounds of religion. That means you cannot do discrimination with anyone on the basis of religion. State is not allowed to promote any particular religion and even not to discriminate any. Next, the constitution allows the state to intervene in the matters of religion in order to ensure equality among religious communities. It is a distinctive feature of Indian secularism. Western countries have declared that government and religion are separate, but in India, if need arises, then government can interfere in the matters of religion. As per the Indian Constitution, secularism means equal protection of all religions. For example, ban on untouchability. Our constitution promotes equality, but at that time, our constitutional values and religious values were conflicting with each other. So, government intervened and put ban on untouchability. So, here we get that secularism is the foundation of our country and communalism is a threat to our country. Therefore, communism needs to be combated. So, how can it be done? Secularism alone is not enough. People's way of thinking should be changed. That is, along with secularism, moral and ideological change can help us in combating communalism and can bring a positive change in society. Now we will move towards our next topic, which is caste and politics. We have seen when the gender issue was highlighted in politics, it gave positive results, and when religion as issue was highlighted in politics, it gave negative result. Now we will see caste as an issue and its relation with politics. When you will see caste as an issue, then there are some positive impacts, and along with that there are some negative impacts also. Unlike gender and religion, caste division is special to India. All societies have some kind of social inequality and some form of division of labor. But the Indian caste system is an extreme form of division of labor based on birth. In most societies, occupations are passed on from one generation to another. But in India, it is different. As in this system, hereditary occupational division was sanctioned by rituals. For example, if a person was cobbler, then it was believed that his son would also be a cobbler. So, our society was divided on the basis of caste. In our society, caste system is deeply rooted. Now also, suppose if you go in rural area, the first thing a person will ask you will be about caste, because people are more comfortable with the people of their own caste than the other. Earlier, caste system was based on exclusion of and discrimination against the outcast groups. People who did work which the society considered small were counted in outcast groups. They were excluded from the society, and because of that, they lagged behind. That is why political leaders and social reformers like Jyotiba Phule, Gandhiji, B.R. Ambedkar, and Pariyar Ramaswamy Naikar advocated and worked to establish a society in which caste inequalities are absent. They worked for the upliftment of outcast groups. Because of socio-economic changes, caste system have undergone great changes such as urbanization and economic development. As you can see that in urban areas, different caste people live together in a society and are ready to help each other in need. This shows that urbanization has weakened the caste system. Next is growth of literacy and education. The literacy rate has helped the society to eradicate the myths related with the caste. It has helped to eliminate rigidity of caste system. One can choose profession based on his or her liking regardless of caste. Educational institutions have become epitome of equality where school children mix with fellow students regardless of caste barriers. Next is occupational mobility. Now the system of hereditary occupation has come to an end. The people who were considered in lower groups now, because of occupational mobility, have a chance to come forward and change their position in a society. The Constitution of India also prohibited any caste based discrimination and laid the foundations of policies to reverse the injustice of the caste system. But caste system has not disappeared. It is still prevalent in India. Even now, most people marry within their own caste. Untouchability has not ended completely despite constitutional prohibition. Now we will see caste and its relation with economic status. With economic development, caste system has also changed. But the upper caste group at that time got the benefit of economic development, and the outcast group did not get such benefit and they lag behind.